Hi and welcome to the Dare to Be Healthy show. This is your host Alia Almoayed, broadcasting from the tiny little island of Bahrain in the Middle East. I'm a nutritional therapist, health writer and health speaker, and I'm here to help you take your health to the next level. In today's episode, we'll be talking about skincare and natural skincare, to be precise. So all kinds of natural ways to take care of your skin, and who better to ask than the expert herself. Caroline Cain is with me today from Denmark. And she just published an ebook about skincare and about natural skincare in general. And I have all kinds of questions for her, and some of her masks and scrubs sound and look delicious. So stay tuned and we'll find out a lot more from her. Caroline, thank you so much for coming on the show today. It's so great to have you.
Well, thank you for having me. It's an honor.
I wanted to know, Caroline, your beginnings in the field of nutrition and health. How did it start?
Well, it actually started with my own health journey, as I think perhaps with most people in the field. Yeah. I started off first as a reflexologist, and then felt that it wasn't quite enough. You know, my clients would come to me once a week, and in between they would carry on doing what they were always doing. Yeah. So then I studied as a naturopathic nutritionist, because I could give them more homework to do in between sessions. Okay. And it's actually, you know, food, really what we eat is the basis of everything. Yeah. And then I really saw the big changes and shifts that they were able to make in their health.
Well, we're talking to you today as the skin expert, and I have a lot of questions for you as somebody who has a lot of experience with skincare, and your own skin looks fantastic, to be honest. You can't see anything from here, but what I see looks great. But what got you into skin in particular? I know this is your first book about skin, so you must be very passionate about this subject. What got you so passionate about it?
Yeah, well, actually, you know, I've never been sort of into skin so much itself. You know, I'm not the kind of woman who wears a lot of makeup or sort of pays too much attention to it. But when I started my own health journey and then studying health, I really noticed massive improvements and massive change. And especially with my clients who come for, you know, detoxing, or the fertility clients, when I teach them about reducing not just toxins in the food that we eat, but also environmental toxins. Yeah. What we put on our skin is one of the areas where we have 100% control over it. Yeah. Can't control maybe the pollution outside or anything like that, but what we put on our skin we can. So this became part of the program. I was telling people, you know, for example, that they could use coconut oil or honey instead of synthetic chemicals that are in commercial products. And I actually started making my own products and using this more and more on myself, and noticed the difference. And then, you know, as part of just a healthy living plan in general. And it's a fun area as well, that people, you know, everybody's interested in beauty and the way they look and having nice skin. Yeah. So it just seemed like an easy way to also get people interested in, you know, or a step into living a cleaner life and reducing the amount of toxins. Because it can be quite scary for people to think, oh, you know, I'm not allowed to do this, I'm not allowed to do that, what can I do?
Yeah. And I think with skin also you can see results a lot sooner than anything else, you know, because it's actually an organ that you have access to, as opposed to the heart or the ovaries or something like that. So I think people do get excited. And of course, I mean, some of your recipes look and sound delicious, and I'm sure they are to taste as well. Your book is called More Than a Pretty Face. And I noticed that the subtitle is Planet-Friendly Holistic Skincare, and it seems that there's a lot of environmental consciousness undertone to it. Was that intentional? Is that part of your theory, at least?
It is, because I think the way I work with my clients is, well, and myself, is that I notice that the more we reduce the amount of chemical toxins that we're exposed to and that we use both in our diet and daily life, that we also become more connected to, you know, to the world around us and to nature, and that makes us, you know, that somehow uplifts us in a way, even if we don't notice it, you know, initially. And it's very apparent when I actually started looking into what was in commercial products and the damage it does to our health but also, of course, all of this is tested on animals, and the results seen on disease and reproductive health and that kind of thing in the animal kingdom, to how much it actually affects the planet. And of course, everything to do with packaging and all of that. And it's more, I mean, generally to bring more awareness into our everyday decisions makes us automatically become more in touch with ourselves and our health, so that we have greater control over it and we can make decisions. It's very easy just to do things automatically without thinking about it. And when you start thinking about it, of course, then it's, it broadens into many different areas.
It's the bigger picture, really.
Exactly.
Well, you live in Denmark, is that correct?
Yeah.
And you're half English, half French.
Yes.
Just to add an interesting element to the to the interview. How do you feel that the Danish community's let's say approach to health? Do you feel that it's a community that is very pro-natural? Do you feel that it's growing in that field? I mean, where I am here in the Middle East, this is something that has grown significantly in the past 10 years. I mean, just 10 years ago, you wouldn't see, today with internet and Google and everything, people are much more informed and they're much more health conscious. What is it like, the community in Denmark, in terms of health and skincare, and skincare specifically?
Well, it's a good question, actually, because one of the things that anybody notices when they first come here is that everybody cycles everywhere.
Yeah.
Of what age, no matter what,
yeah.
even in the snow. And generally, women here don't wear much makeup, I think, compared to other countries that I've been to. And they tend to have very smooth skin. They have a very natural look, actually. And the Danish people just generally, even when you arrive at the airport, you can see it, that they seem like very healthy people.
Okay.
Yeah, and they obviously, with cycling around, it means that they're also outside in the winter. A lot of people go jogging here. Again, any time of day or night, you'll see somebody jogging. So they have a very healthy outlook on life anyway. Movement, exercise, healthy living is very important to them. So it is something that they are conscious about, and I think it's something that's been around for a very long time, but very much in terms of natural beauty.
Yeah.
There are quite a few, organic not supermarkets, but shops here.
Yeah.
Not as many at all as, for example, if you go to Germany and they have massive organic supermarkets everywhere. But people generally are quite aware, I think, of the benefits of eating organic and, using natural things, natural products.
And how have you found, it seems that you have coconut oil as a basis for a lot of your recipes, and coconut oil at the end of the day has to be imported from somewhere, because it can't be something that you can find in Denmark. Do you feel that the majority of the health ingredients that you're using for skin are stuff that you are having to import, or do you find that you are looking locally for things as well?
Yeah, that's a very good question. And unfortunately, most things here are imported. Even organic fruit and vegetables, because some of the recipes, quite a lot of them, use actual food.
Yes.
Even a lot of that, to be organic, has to be is imported. They do have some things here, but it's more difficult to find it in the supermarket for some reason. It's growing here how many people actually buy from local farmers markets.
Yeah.
They've got a special arrangement here where once a week you can go and pick up your little bag in exchange for, I think it's 3 hours work a month or something. This is becoming very popular. But all the oils, even almond oil, everything like that, does need to be imported.
Well, I think today with all the shipping, things has become a lot easier, and I think it's stopped being an obstacle in terms of being healthy. I think you can find, in this part of the world, of course, it's a lot easier to find these things because India is just around the corner, and we're kind of central like that. But who exactly is your target market? If we're talking about a global audience, who do you feel? What age range? Is it male, female? Because I know men today are also becoming very self-conscious, or at least they take care a lot more about the way they look. So who do you feel is your target market?
Yeah, I mean, my boyfriend has to use this coconut oil. He's not anything chemical in the house.
He's forced.
He's actually a guinea pig for a lot of the recipes.
Yeah.
He was smearing.
And do they go well with men? Do you feel that with the beard and all that, does it work well for them as well?
Completely, actually. The only thing I haven't fine-tuned yet is a shaving oil.
Yes.
But otherwise, yeah. And it's actually even better for them because a lot of them have short hair as well. So using alternatives to shampoo and that kind of thing tends to be easier. But generally, my target market is women from sort of 20s, 30s, 40s, I think. Just because they tend to be the clients, age range that I have. I tend to find that my clients or readers who are in their 20s like to experiment, actually making their own products. They find it exciting, it's something new. When you get more into the 30s, people are mums, they have families, they're busier with their jobs and their lives.
Yeah.
So I have some products in there which are just single products. For example, just using coconut oil on your face and just cleaning your face with raw honey. And they tend to go more for those single ready-made ingredients that they can use.
Well, tell us a bit about then, if we were, let's say somebody is watching this now and they're not completely convinced about why they should use coconut oil instead of their, brand X moisturizer, which seems to be working just fine. The natural skincare versus the regular remedies that you find on the counter. Why do you feel we need to switch?
Yeah, and that's basically the basis of the book. Because you can find a lot of books, with a whole load of recipes, natural recipes, but they don't really talk about the health side of it or the scientific side of it. And then on the other side of the scale, you have books which do explain the whole, why you don't want this on your skin, but they don't give you as many options, what you can do instead.
Yes.
So I combine this in a short ebook in an easy to follow format. And the main reasons are, from a skin point of view, that even though commercial products may seem like they're working, they actually damage the acid mantle, which is a protection, as it were, on our skin. So it makes the skin more and more fragile over time. So the skin then can't produce its own balance of oil or hydration, that kind of thing. And the more creams we put on, the more we damage it, and the more the skin then can't do what it's supposed to do itself. And then we have to keep perhaps buying new products or using more of it or something like that. And it's a long-term thing, it's not just what's working now. And then on the other side of it, which is how I got into it, how it actually affects our health as part of a holistic health, which is diet, exercise, rest, all of that. Because whatever we put on our skin as our largest organ, 80% of it within 20 minutes is absorbed straight into our bloodstream. Whereas when we eat or drink something, it goes to our liver first to be sorted out and detoxified, and then brought around the body to every cell. And I clearly explain how what we put on our skin, when it goes straight to our bloodstream, and that's what feeds all of our cells, including the cells, of course, which make up our skin, our organs and other tissues, then this is the food they're getting. And when it comes to synthetic products or chemicals, it's things like petroleum and lead and other things like this, which we would never normally eat out of choice.
Well, what about all these, some products are actually quite expensive, and a lot of them claim to be natural, quote unquote, or some of them have even royal jelly, and you spend a lot of money for that, and a lot of people, I've heard this a lot from my own clients as well, saying, well, this is the best of the best, how can it be bad for my skin?
Yeah.
What do you say to these people?
Well, it's actually, that's how, when I started using natural and organic products, and this was years ago, I thought that because they said organic or natural on them, that they were.
Natural, yeah.
And then the more I started looking into it and learning about it, I realized that it wasn't actually. Because it's what is called greenwashing, using labels like eco or natural or organic, because there's actually no way to certify it. It's basically if a company says that their product, they want to call it natural, and they've tested it as safe, then the market accepts it, such as, for example, for a product to have organic or natural written on it, it only needs to contain about 1% organic products in it.
I can't believe it.
Then they can say that.
Yeah.
And the next question that often comes up is, well, then why are these products on the market? And the fact is that they're cheap, and they allow products to have a longer shelf life. For example, one of the most common preservatives are parabens, which they affect our own hormonal system. They act like estrogen. So then that affects our health in a great way, because I think about 50% of them have this effect. 50% of all synthetic chemicals, actually, that are used in personal care products, especially for women, and especially in the case that infertility is rising, birth defects and cancers, for example, ovarian cancer and that kind of thing. What we put on our skin in that respect really does matter or make a difference, because we reduce our toxic load. And that's why
sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say it's very difficult for people to shop and to know what to buy.
Oh, definitely.
Because if this is written on a product, and that's why I wrote the book, it's then who do you trust? How do you know if it says organic that it's not? True. And in the book I also mentioned the EWG website. I think they have a section called Skin Deep, and here you can look up your product and see how it rates on the cleanliness scale.
Yes. Yeah, so you type in the brand name and you can have it checked. I think that's what a lot of people, I think this is where the confusion is, that a lot of people don't see the connection between putting something externally and it being absorbed and affecting your skin. And I get that. I mean, I find myself having that debate over and over again, saying, no, but of course it absorbs, because when you have a nicotine patch, for example,
yeah, exactly.
You're putting it on the skin in order for you to absorb the nicotine. So how is it that when you're putting petroleum jelly, for example, then it's not being absorbed? It must be the same thing. Yeah. And once people understand that, then they will maybe start taking a bit more care, because you think it's an external thing, that doesn't really make a difference. But my question to you, which I got from some of my viewers as well, is, if this food is so great for you, why don't you just eat it and have it affect your skin, rather than waste organic honey or raw honey or good quality stuff by using it externally only?
Yeah, well actually, and I've got a little chapter on that as well, in that it's also, of course, it's what we eat, and as well as what we eat. Eating a balanced diet, of course, will affect everything, the quality of our health, but also, visually, the quality of our skin, things like that. And even sort of taking that a step further, it's what our bodies are able to assimilate and eliminate as well. That our bodies need to be able to absorb the nutrients that we feed it, and also be able to get rid of the waste. That's why it's much more than what we just what we eat. It's also exercise and all of these things which allow these processes to take place. Putting it on our skin, I find generally that when I'm somewhere warm, that in a hot country, that I actually don't need to put any cream on my skin. But in a cold country like Denmark, your skin gets very dry and things like that. And you have also, I mean, actually even in a warm country, because you have air conditioning inside.
Yes, of course.
You have toxins, or some kind of threat, as you call it, outside threat from pollution, from indoor heating, from air conditioning, from the wind, from the heat. And so, of course, optimally we protect our skin from the inside, but to actually put something on the outside protects it from the elements as well.
But you're not really, I mean, when you use something like yogurt, for example, or honey, you're not really leaving it on. So are you saying that we just put it on and wash it off and then we should be good to go? Or do you always recommend that we moisturize with something?
Well, the masks, like the honey and yogurt mask or something, this is more as a treatment,
Okay.
as a hydrating or something like that.
Okay.
And then, depending where you live, you probably would need to moisturize. I mean, for example, I use coconut oil as well as part of my skin sun protection.
Yeah.
It has natural protection in it,
Okay.
and my skin can deal with it because I eat a lot of antioxidants and that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So for people who need or who live in a very polluted environment where there's a lot of wind, then I would suggest that they put some kind of protective layer on, just because it keeps also the moisture in. And actually, this is another answer to give people about how what we put on our skin matters, because most things come out of our skin, like when we sweat and that kind of thing. So it shows it's a two-way system.
Well, give us some ideas. Like the biggest, I'll tell you what the biggest complaints I hear are. We have in the Middle East, obviously, it's a very hot summer.
Yeah.
Bahrain happens to be very humid, which is in theory good for skin. But then you have all the air-conditioned interiors. You have the malls, the houses, everything is air-conditioned. So it's very artificial dryness, kind of. And then you have the winter, which is very dry. So everybody goes super dry in the winter. So dry skin is a topic that keeps coming up with people. What would be some of your biggest or most popular tips, at least, for that?
Tips, yeah. Well, and it also, you're going from extremes. It's like us here. It's really cold. Then we go inside and
indoors. Yes.
And our poor, bodies in every way need to adapt to that very quickly.
Yeah.
And the most important thing, obviously, is through diet, primarily, for everything. So to make sure that they're drinking enough water, fluids a day, probably at least 2 liters when it's warmer, and then you're doing exercise, it could be more. And also making sure that people are eating enough healthy oils, nuts and avocado, the omega-3 oils from flaxseed oil or fish oil, that kind of thing.
And can you put those, should you put avocado then on your face because it's good for you?
You can, as a face mask, it's very good. So
what's a good face mask for dry skin?
Then I would do avocado and honey. Add a bit of olive oil in there as well.
Sounds delicious.
I know, you can look it up. And then on a moisturizing level, when you're actually putting on these oils, it's important to be a little bit damp rather than dry, because when you put, for example, coconut oil or almond oil, your yogurt oil, whichever one you choose, if you put it on dry skin, they put a protective layer. If you put it on dry skin, it locks the dryness in. So if you're still in the it'll keep
that was actually my next question to you, because I love to use coconut oil, but I feel it's very dry.
Yes.
So maybe that's what I'm doing. I'm supposed to put it on wet skin or moist.
Slightly, moist skin. And actually, I find that with coconut oil, when I'm very dry, in the winter, for example, that it doesn't work as well as. Do you know argan oil from Morocco? It's a delicious oil.
What is it made of?
I think it's just from the argan tree.
Okay.
And it's fantastic, and I find that to be more moisturizing.
Okay.
Or you can put a layer of another oil underneath an oil or something.
Yeah.
Of course, it changes throughout the year.
And what's a good moisturizer to use on a daily basis other than coconut oil? Any specific, or do you feel that that's good enough for all?
Yeah. Well, I think for the face. For you, the coconut oil would be liquid. For us here, it's hard.
It's very
solidifies cold, so it's a bit difficult to use on the body. So generally, I just use almond oil with some drops of essential oil, rose or lavender or something like that in it. And again, on damp skin.
Okay.
So.
And because I get this question as well a lot: blemishes, acne. skin imperfections, quote unquote, and we've spoken a lot in the past about the diet side of cleansing the skin and how to stay toxin free, etc. But people always want to have an option, an external option.
Yeah.
What can they use?
And I think a lot of people are very afraid of this. I get this question a lot. I already have acne or spots or skin. If I put oil on my face, it's going to be even worse.
Yeah.
Actually, it's the opposite.
Yeah.
The reason our skin, or body creates this oil is because it's overproducing, because whatever we put on our skin is stripping it off. So the body has to work twice as hard, and then it produces twice as much. There's a sort of a transition period when people go from using synthetic chemical products to using natural products, and it normally takes up to about a month. It can be much less, it can obviously be a little bit more. And the more you give your skin what it actually needs to function and do its job properly, then the less and less that will happen over time. And of course, as you say, for skin issues such as acne, it's very much has to do with diet and everything like that. But also topically, by putting these products on, for example, coconut oil is very antibacterial, antiseptic, and healing. So then over time that will also help from this side as opposed to the inside as well. But what I say to people is, I know it's very frightening to suddenly make the change and you think, ooh, what's going to happen to my skin? You should just choose their time really well. Don't do it when they're about to have a load of job interviews, for example, or something. Yeah. And just give it a month or so.
What about alternating and saying, okay, on the weekend when I'm at home, let me try and stay as natural as possible, and then when I'm nervous and have an interview, then I'll continue with my regular routine just in case something flares up?
Yeah, that's also a very good idea. Or also just changing one product at a time. For example, if people normally use a special eye cream or night cream, they can change and just use one of these natural oils, for example, at night. And then carry on.
Sensitive skin is always an issue that comes up as well. I don't know if you feel that as well, but a lot of people, maybe part of the nervousness of switching is because they have such sensitive skin that they worry it will flare up, or it'll go red, or it'll go funny. Is there anything that will calm and soothe sensitive skin that they can apply, for example, at night if they have a big day tomorrow or a big event in the evening?
Yeah, and that's also a good question. I think it's just this fear that people don't know how their skin will react. And the good thing is with using natural products, for example, almond oil is very neutral. Of course, unless someone has an allergy to nuts, then they shouldn't use it. That's very neutral, and what I would suggest for someone with sensitive skin is not to use essential oils, perhaps. Some people can tolerate them, some people can't. So they should experiment slowly with that. But just using something neutral like that, or vitamin E cream, can be very soothing. And if you're using natural products, things from nature, there's nothing in them other than that product, if you buy it pure. So you don't have to worry about, okay, is there anything in there I'm going to react to or not, because it's completely natural. Unless in the case of allergies or that kind of thing. I think this is...
Sorry, go ahead.
That's what's helpful in knowing exactly what you're using. You don't have to read the labels and see what's in here, because, well, almond oil is almond oil, vitamin E is E, coconut is coconut.
Do you use aloe vera at all in your recipes?
Yeah, aloe vera. My aloe vera plant is one of my best friends.
Okay, does it grow there? It grows in Denmark?
Yeah, just not out in the open, just in a little pot.
Okay, living room. Because we have a lot of aloe vera plants here, but I think they're massively underutilized, unfortunately. People don't really understand the value of that plant, and it's just amazing for skin problems.
Yeah, both internally and externally. Just the other day I burnt myself in the kitchen, put it on, gone, no problems. Yeah. And also for blemishes, actually, you can just cut a little bit off and put it on. It's fantastic. And for skin tightening?
Yeah, that was my next question, actually. Anti-aging is a very big topic, and I'm sure people are going to great lengths to have all sorts of Botox and God knows what inserted. give us your magic youth recipe. Everybody wants that.
Yeah.
First of all, do you apply on specific areas, or is this one of those apply everywhere and it'll just pull the whole skin?
Yeah, apply everywhere. I mean,
Okay.
if you're using aloe vera, I would just spread it all over, and you get that kind of tight feeling. You can feel it all. And oils like rosehip oil, if you know that, it's very, very smoothing. And another thing I talk about in the book as well is, rather than focusing on specific things like anti-wrinkle and things like that, is by looking at your overall health. So your diet, exercise, movement, breathing, fresh air, hydration, all this kind of thing, and using natural products. Generally, it's almost as though one size fits all. You know, if you're living that kind of life, your body will regenerate, you know, a lot easier. The aging process will slow down, that kind of thing. So it's rather than a band-aid cure, as I call it, or covering up a symptom, which maybe wrinkles are, is to actually live a whole lifestyle like that, and a cleaner lifestyle, a healthier one, and then automatically all of these things will improve.
Well, can you give us, just before we end here, if somebody wanted to start today, what's good for them to add to a starter kit, for example? Let's say they want to, I mean, where do they start? If they've completely done nothing and this is the first time that they've heard that this is even bad for them, where can they start, the starter kit?
I would actually start first by looking at the products in their cupboards and looking at the label on the back, trying to read what the ingredients actually are, if they can pronounce them.
Mostly, yeah, most of the time you won't be able to read them even.
I can't get past the first 5 letters or 3 letters half the time.
So that's a no. If it has anything that's unpronounceable, unreadable, then get rid of it.
Exactly, because then you don't know what it is. And also the problem with these chemicals is that they may have been tested individually and said, okay, this is safe. But of course, you're putting them all in one product together.
Yeah.
That hasn't been tested. And I think I've got a figure here, the average woman, I can't remember, but I think it uses 12 products with a combination of over 200 chemicals in it every single day. And of course, we don't know the outcome of that. So I would start by looking at the labels, and then if they want to change, and also looking at how many products they're using. This is also clever marketing. We don't need a different eye cream for morning and evening and all this kind of stuff.
Packaging and marketing, that's all it is.
Exactly. We get distracted by pretty colors and boxes.
Yeah. So what can they put in their starter kit?
To be honest, I would start with coconut oil.
Okay.
And almond
That's a good
oil.
start.
Coconut oil and almond oil, they're easy to find. And then, of course, things like avocado and raw cacao for your face, that kind of thing. Raw honey actually is very good. That's what I clean my face with as well. And it's very effective.
And do you use the oatmeal? Because I see that oatmeal is also a repeating ingredient in some of the recipes. Is that good for scrubs? It's a good basis for scrubs?
Very good for scrubs and masks as well, because it's soft. That's another thing, is we then think, oh, okay, I need to scrub or do this, and then we go to an extreme.
Yeah.
And again, doing something too much is not good either.
Well, how often should you scrub? Because you just said that the outer layer of the skin is very important and it's very delicate and all of that. So, and on the other side, you're still exposing yourself every day to pollution and air and dust, at least in this part of the world. And if you don't scrub, then you have this layer of gray kind of, which you need to scrub off. So how often is normal, or what can you use that will keep it soft?
I think if you're living, somewhere like you say, where you are exposed to a lot of dust and pollution, it's not quite as bad here with the pollution. 1 to 3 times a week. I would say once or twice a week is probably enough. And to use something very soft, like oatmeal. It doesn't have to be hard or really grainy for it to work. For example, I use muscovado sugar, this very soft brown sugar, and once a week is definitely enough. I can feel it working. I don't do it once a week. It has to fit into your schedule as well.
Yeah, of course.
But I would say maximum once, twice, if someone uses very, soft oatmeal grains, maybe 3 times. But.
And should you be using those gloves or the like the harsh stuff, or is it just with your fingers that you do it?
Just with the fingers.
Okay.
You can also do it, for example, if you wash your face with raw honey, just use a face cloth. And just scrub gently with that. Even that is effective.
Yes.
But not the gloves, I don't think. They're a bit too harsh.
And do you use raw honey as a face wash?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just raw honey with a drop of water. Rub it on and then just wash it off with a face cloth.
Even after makeup?
Yeah. I mean, admittedly, I don't wear much makeup.
Yes.
But it removes eye makeup as well and things like that. So I just use a little natural sponge to remove the eye makeup water.
And have you had any stories about people who've made the mask or made the scrub and ended up eating it instead of applying it?
I do. There's a chocolate face mask which is amazing.
Oh.
Antioxidants and the properties in the raw cacao are very, very softening. I mean, literally, you'll have the smoothest skin ever, and you always have to make extra because, of course, you eat it.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow! And what do you mix that with? Just the
So
mayonnaise and the...
It's actually avocado or banana with raw cacao and
That's
oil.
a dangerous recipe.
It's the way I make chocolate mousse, actually.
Yeah, exactly.
Whether I'm making a mask or a chocolate mousse, I just make a bit of extra and use it. Yeah.
Wow, fantastic.
And that's
Caroline,
the point with using fresh products as well, actually.
Yeah.
Is that you're using the freshest ingredients.
And everybody has bananas and avocados. I mean, it's very rare that you wouldn't have those in your fridge, or in your kitchen at least. But Caroline, thank you so much. I'm very curious about what your next project is and where you feel you're moving from here.
Well, I'm very interested in the whole cleansing detoxification side as a basis of health, basically to reduce our exposure to toxins in everyday life, in our diet, through leading a more cleaner life. It just naturally increases health, and then you want to eat healthier food and you want to do these things in a more natural way, and that kind of thing. And that's the way I work very much as a nutritionist as well, with the naturopathic cleansing techniques. So that's the way I'll be continuing for now.
Good. And where can people go to get the book? Because the book is amazing. I saw it, it's lovely, and I love the cover picture as well.
Yeah.
It has these really cute graphics as well, and it seems like a really easy book to use. I mean, something that you would scroll through on an iPad, for example, or just take it with you everywhere. Where can people go to get it?
Yeah, and I just wanted to say, actually, and that's one way that I wrote it, because I wanted it to be fun, and accessible to people, as if you're just sitting with a girlfriend, on the sofa chatting about these things. So it's a very conversational book. And 30% actually of each sale goes to charity. So that's another good reason to buy it.
And you have several charities, I think, that people can choose from, right?
Yeah, I've chosen 3 that have personal meaning to me. So that's nice. And I know the people who have set up the charities and everything. And you can find it at my website, which is www.carolinecain.dk. And should I just spell that?
Yes.
It's www.carolinecain.dk for Denmark.
And they can just buy it online, right?
They can just buy it online, yeah.
Okay, fantastic. Caroline, thank you so much. I can't wait to try some of the recipes. I'm actually looking forward to making one with my daughter this afternoon, and I think she'll probably love the cacao banana mixture. I'm looking forward to that.
It's a great start.
Yeah, we'll keep you posted on how that goes, definitely.
Great. Thank you very much, Alia.
Thanks for coming, Caroline.